it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video. My palettes from Alien just arrived. So I have the new Low Light Highlighter palette. Now this is supposed to be more of like the multi-chrome highlighters, multi-chrome or duochrome highlighters, but these are supposed to not be ashy on any skin tone. So this palette retails for $48. We'll start off by swatching this one and go from there. The first shade in the palette is the shade Low Light, which as you can see is like a pastel blue, lavender to a pastel pink. Then we have Synthwave, which is a champagne gold to like more of like a pastel pink. Comet, which is more of like a bronzy gold to a deeper pink, so more of like rose gold. Extraterrestrial, trying to get these swatches good, which is like a green, like a lime green to a mauve. These are really, really pretty. I've worn one of them yesterday. Don't want to break it. Almost did. Then we have the shade Metroid. This is a beautiful highlight. So as you can see, it's like a true gold, almost a little bronzy, and then there's like a burgundy shift to it. And last but not least is the shade Laser Beam. So as you can see, Laser Beam is like a true green, but it shifts to almost purple and blue. It's very, very pretty. But that is all 6 of the highlighters. Now I pre-ordered Low Light and All I Ever Wanted together. All I Ever Wanted actually came out first, but then they decided to release Low Light and I hadn't pre-ordered either, so they shipped together. So this is Low Light. We're gonna use that today. I'm excited. And then we have All I Ever Wanted. Now this palette retails for, let me go over to the page, $86. She's expensive, but she is gorgeous. Now these are like those special wet kind of multi-chrome shades. Now one thing I will tell you is this is 20 shades. It's a lot of shades. But if you have stuff like Break the Rules by It's Belle, there is definitely some overlap in the colors, like the shade Rebel and Mars, Stay Radical and Sphynx, Eager for More and Basilisk. So I mean, Bold and Go Rogue. So I mean, you can see that there is some overlap, as well as with the Adept palette. So like with an Anhydrous, more overlap, and Plain Jane. So, but to me, it doesn't bother me because there are shades in here that aren't in either one of those palettes, and I love trying like super special formulas. And Alien has a really unique wet formula. Now it is similar to, as I said, the It's Belle and Adept, but they are different. Now we're gonna start off by swatching, and when we do this, I do wanna go over the shades that are the same because they actually did dupe themselves, and that's a little bit frustrating because I have 3 of their previous palettes. I actually have 4. And I have 2 more on order. I love Alien Cosmetics. It's just, I wanted to make sure that you knew that if you own some of these palettes, you may already have dupes. The first shade in the palette is the shade Mars, which is a true red metallic. It is gorgeous. Now, I don't own Fairy Frolic, but the shade number 2 that's in here, this is the shade Frolic. I do know that that is from the Fairy Frolic palette. Now I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that there's 2 from each palette because that's what I have found so far. So then we have Amethyst. So that's like that gold to champagne shift. Then we have the shade Pink Moon. So that's like that true white, but you can see how it shifts. There's some pink and gold to it. Very, very pretty. Okay, next up is Planet X. So this is Planet X right here. And then this is their Christmas palette. This shade up top, this one doesn't have any names, you can see are identical. So this is Planet X. Next up we have Passion. That's a beautiful blue to pink. Then we have the shade Plum. I really like Plum. Plum is almost like a unique, because it's almost like a pastel duochrome, because it's got, I don't know, there's just something about it that I really like. Okay, next up is the shade Sphynx. Okay, now this palette, this is the Lure palette. These actually have names. So as you can see, I mean, it's not like they were trying to hide that they duped themselves. The shades are called the same thing. So this is Sphynx, or this is, yeah, Sphynx from the Lure palette, and this is Sphynx from All I Ever Wanted. So there's that. But with as many special shades as there are, I wanted to do like a multiple look palette. Okay, then we have the shade Antares, which looks like this. And then from, this is the Serendipity the Artist palette. That top shade, they're identical. So there's Antares. Okay, then we have this shade Uranus. This is really pretty. I like these kind of shades. It almost reminds me of cotton candy. Okay, Milky Way. I like this color too. Well, I mean, I like all of these. That's why I bought it. Then the shade Alien Princess, which looks like this. And Alien Princess is the same as the center shade right here. As you can see, that's these two fingers. It's kind of hard to do this. They're identical. So this is Alien Princess. Now we're getting into some shades that I really like, that I feel like I don't have these in my collection. So we've got the shade Neptune. Look at this. I cannot wait to get that all over my eyes. The shade Moon Boots. So we have Neptune, Moon Boots. Aren't those gorgeous? Atlas. Again, look at those. Aren't those pretty? Then next up, we have the shade Basilisk. Okay. And Basilisk, again, is the shade Basilisk in the Lure palette. So you can see they're identical. So pretty. Okay. Then we have the shade Europa. Just landed. So pretty. I'm making a mess. And then last but not least is this shade Jupiter. Look at this. And that matches this shade right here in the Christmas palette. So as you can see, they're identical. So that is the shade Jupiter. So that is what all 20 shades look like. Isn't it pretty? I cannot wait to get you on my eyeballs. So as I said, because of the nature of this palette and the highlight palette, I figured we'd do a multiple look video with it because, you know, that's what makes it fun. Because I like to play with makeup. And this video may end up being forever long, but I think sometimes that's fun. So we're gonna start off. I did grab my Alien and Capricorn because this is an all matte palette. So we can play with some color because I love color. And I may do 2 looks with this one. I'm not sure yet. like two separate looks, one on each eye. Quite possibly. Maybe. We shall see. Okay, so I think first what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab, this is a Lunar Beauty LB1, and I did prime my eyes with the shade, with the NARS smudge proof, tinted smudge proof eye base in light. So I think I'm gonna go in first to the shade Nerf This, which is one of my favorite shades from the Capricorn palette. It's like this beautiful neon-y watermelon kind of coral color. It's stunning. I don't know what it is, but I do really, really love this palette, this color. And it's something super unique to my collection. And I do enjoy Alien's matte formula. Like, as you can see, it's going on, it's blending. Not a whole lot of issue. See? Very pretty. And then to deepen it up a little bit, I'm gonna go into the shade Ghoul, which is that orange. And we're going to apply that just to kind of deepen it up. Give it a little bit extra zhuzh, because that's what I like to do. And I'm gonna take that Lunar Beauty brush and just go over the edges, make sure it's all blended out. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Now, where's my glitter glue? Should I do one eye at a time? I think so. So we're gonna take my glitter glue. There we go. I need a wipe. Gotta wipe all the color off this brush. This is a Kaleidos S4. I do love using this brush with shimmers. Maybe the next time I order from Kaleidos, I'll order another set of these brushes because they're good quality too. So I'm gonna take the shade Sphynx, which I love this color. It's, again, one of my favorite, most unique colors that was in the Lore palette. It's like a neon coral almost. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it goes really, really well with what I'm working with on my eyes right now. But that is a beautiful, beautiful color. See what I'm saying? See how well that goes together? And I like having palettes full of special shades. I don't have an issue mixing palettes. Where I get overwhelmed, like, because, you know, you would think because of the way I like to mix palettes and stuff like that, that I would be a great single shadow person. The reason why I'm not is because I get overwhelmed and I want them all. I'm not very good at picking and choosing. That's why I stick to palettes more. But see how pretty that is? Okay, so now we're gonna do the other eye. Now I gotta decide, I think I'm gonna do a blue look on the other side. So, where's a clean brush? This is a Clionadh Cosmetics, it's just a blender brush. And I'm going to go into the shade MICU, which is almost, okay, so you see how, and this is what I like to do if I'm doing dual eye looks. I like for things to kind of be in the same kind of depth and range. So Nerf This and MICU, to me, are in that same kind of, where they're both bright, almost neon shades. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it's in that same kind of depth. It's not a pastel, it is much brighter than a pastel, but it still has something special to it. There we go. Now I've got to figure out a way if I can take half pictures of my face. we shall see how that goes. Okay, so there's the shade McHugh. Goes on beautifully. Now I need something dense and small to do something deeper in the crease. I've got so many brushes, it's not even funny. Okay, so this is another BK Beauty brush. This is the 205. And I'm gonna go into Soldier First Class, which is like a royal blue. So you can see what I mean. It kind of matches the depth of Ghoul. So I'm gonna take Soldier First Class and blend it on the outer half of my eye. Okay, same brush that has McHugh. Go over the edges. Isn't that pretty? I love this. Okay, now again, I'm gonna use the Too Faced Glitter Glue. It's almost empty actually. Finally. Feels like I've been working, and I have been, because I use different primers and stuff, and I don't always, like if I'm in a hurry, I don't always remember to use glitter glue. So now I think I'm gonna go into the shade, let me look. I'm gonna use the shade Neptune on this one. I think that it has like the same kind of brightness. Oh yeah, it won't look crazy to have these dual eye looks because they go together. And I'm not doing, as I said, I'm not doing this super crazy because I just wanted y'all to see this all done, and I'll probably do one more look after this. But I'm also gonna use this in Saturday's live. So you'll see Saturday's live before you see this. But there you go. Okay, so now I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face. We'll come back, do the lower lash line, and we will do highlight. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used my Benefit Cheek Stars palette. I used Hoola and then a mixture of Georgia and Dallas because I wanted things to be more neutral because of how fun everything else is. And then I used the Lime Crime Liquid Lip in the shade Riot. Again, just a good nude. So first thing we're gonna do is go into the All I Ever Wanted palette. So I think what I want to do is I'm gonna take the shade Mars, which is that true red shimmer, and I'm going to apply that to the peachy corally side eye underneath, because I do want to use as many shades as possible. But isn't that pretty? And whoever tells you you can't use a metallic underneath your eye, get rid of them out of your life. You don't need that negativity. Isn't that cute? Okay, now I'm gonna wipe off that brush. This is a BK Beauty 204. I need to wash brushes. And I'm gonna go into the shade Moon Boots, which is like a blue true metallic, but it's nice and bright. Kind of like the shade Mars. So again, it's to do like looks like this, or at least how I do my looks whenever I'm doing two different eyes, I try to keep them in the same family. So they go together, but aren't identical. So now I'm gonna take, this is a Spectrum A22. I'm gonna go into that shade Pink Moon, which is the white with the pink. We're gonna use that as our inner corner highlight on this side. Isn't that pretty? Really like that shade. It's like fire and ice, or at least that's what this is giving me. And now I'm gonna go into the shade Uranus, which is the one that has more of that blue shift. You see it's the same kind of thing, just one's blue, one's pink. Okay, so happy with the eye look. What do you think? Okay, so now let's do our low light palette. So I think what I'm gonna do is wear some brushes. I need some brushes. Gonna grab, okay, this is a Spectrum B08, and I'm gonna go into the shade Low Light, which is that purpley pink one, and we're gonna apply that over here. It's a pretty color. So as you can see, oh yeah. See how you can definitely see that when I turn my head, but like when I'm face straight on, it's not too crazy. And I'm bringing that above my eyebrow and everything. I really like that. That's pretty. So pretty. And then on the other side, we're gonna go for Synthwave, which is that champagne baby pink. And I just wiped that brush off so you can see what I mean. Like they're the same kind of highlight, like in that same kind of tone family. Just one is, to me, like this orangey pink goes better with this coral side, and the other side goes well. Yep, drop my brush. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take my big powder brush and kind of just blend over it so it's not, I mean, it's still, Teresa's dead would love this highlight. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so these are the first two looks. What do you think? I am in love. So we'll come back for another look. So I'm back and I'm gonna do another look with the All I Ever Wanted palette. I am using it in conjunction with the Alien Cosmetics and Capricorn palette again. So let's see. I think I wanna do like a purple and green look. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to grab, nope, I need a fluffy brush. Okay. So I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 202, and I'm gonna go into the shade Rise, which is that lavendery shade. And we're going to apply that to the back half of my eye. Now I used the NARS Smudge Proof Eye Base. It's not my favorite, but it works good. And I'm trying to, you know, use that product. See, that color shows up really well. I love purples, and this is such an unusual tone because as you can see, it's lavender, but it is definitely more gray toned. So I'm really blending that in above the crease. So I like how that looks. Now I'm going to take the same brush and I'm gonna go into our Arima, which is that deeper purple. And we're gonna keep that definitely on the outer half of the lid. Isn't that pretty? I like that color. I like that color a whole lot. But yeah, that's the thing about it, is these alien shadows perform so well. Definitely better. Like sometimes when you get indie and there are so many brands, you know, not all indie brands are created equal. And Alien has definitely, between color stories and just uniqueness, is definitely in my top 10, if not my top 5 indie brands. And if you want to see a video on that, let me know. Because I can do it. Anything you can do, I can do better. I've got that song stuck in my head now. Don't ask me why. That's what I said, like, I get these random thoughts, and if it's echoing in here and everything looks crazy, well, you probably can't see everything. I'm changing everything around again, but one of the things my husband ordered me for Mother's Day was the new iMac. So now I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is Materia, that bright lime green. You're gonna hear the printer. I'm sorry. And I want to keep that on the front of the eye. So I want like a hint or a splash of green. What do you think? I love this shade. I love greens in general, and especially like these slimy, almost limey colored greens are some of my favorites. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love, like, y'all know, the grungy tones, but sometimes you want something bright. It's summer, you know? I want something a little bit more. So I'm just taking my 202 and we're going into the front just a little bit to make sure everything's kind of blended together. Kind of blended, it's blended. Go over the edge. Love it. What do you think? Okay, so I may add a little bit more depth. I'm gonna go into the same shade Kaniki, which is like that navy. And this is a E33 by Lashes by Sigma. We just want to add a little bit more depth, at least in my opinion. There we go. I always like to have like layers of shadow. That's what works best for me. Kind of depends on what you like and how you like to do your makeup, but this is what I like to do. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab something. This is a BK Beauty 203, and I'm gonna go into the shade Ito, which is like a true grass green, just to add a little bit more depth in the green up front. There we go. Simple as that. Now, let's get to the fun part. I guess I could have done the matte stuff off camera, but you know, I think y'all like to see kind of the looks that we come up with and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to make sure with the palettes and stuff that I'm ordering, because you know, I know not everybody can afford to buy makeup the way that I do. So I want to make sure if I'm talking about a palette, I want to make sure I'm trying to like show y'all more uses than just one with it. Even if I'm, you know, because a lot of times I use stuff when I'm off camera as well, but you know, that doesn't help y'all see what you can do with it a lot of times. Okay, so this is a Sigma E55, and I'm just patting in my glitter glue. Very simple to do. I like that. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the shade Passion. It's a beautiful bluey pink shimmer shade. Put that on the back half of the lid. Isn't that a beautiful color? I really like this formula from Alien. There we go. Just blend it. There we go. Where's my makeup wipe? Oh, there's my makeup wipe. Try and find my makeup wipe. I'm telling you, these days I would lose my head if it wasn't attached. I'm wiping off that purple color. And now we're gonna go into the shade Just Landed, which is like a green blue kind of color. And we're going to apply that to the front half. See how pretty that is? And trust me, I know that this looks crazy in the beginning, especially, you know, I think that's how a lot of eyeshadow looks. Like whenever I go, I'm like, is this gonna work the way that I want it to? And then typically it all comes together in the end. See how pretty? These would be pretty together for Mardi Gras as well. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my face, come back, we'll do the lower lash line, add highlight, and talk about my thoughts on the palette. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used the Too Faced Pineapple Sun bronzer today. And then for blush, I used the Radiant Chic Duo from Chantecaille. This is the Manta Ray one. I love this corally toned blush. Beautiful, beautiful for summer. Then on my lips, I used the Zara Liquid Lips, or Zaya from Lunar Beauty. And then in my waterline, I used Charmer. So I'm gonna take, this as a BK Beauty 207 little dense pencil brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is Planet X. And we're gonna use that under the water lash line. There we go. See how pretty that is? I love these. And as I said before, I know some people get bothered like using like metallics or special shades as waterline colors or under the eyes, but I want to be shiny and shimmery everywhere, if at all possible. You know, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be an amazing rainbow? I certainly do. I like that though. Very, very pretty. Had a clump. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna use the shade Jupiter right down here for my inner corner. Isn't that pretty? Man, oh man, I love anything that has like this super kind of bright white, but with an interesting shift as an inner corner. It's like one of my favorite ways to play with makeup. Okay, so now we're gonna grab the low light palette. Perfect, perfect. And I'm gonna go into this one right here, which is called Extraterrestrial, which is like that green that has a little bit of a burgundy shift. Isn't that pretty? And this is a B08 from Spectrum. Now, whenever I'm using something that's kind of crazy colored like this, I don't apply a lot to the rest of my face other than like my cheekbones and some to my upper lip. I'll apply a little bit like to my nose, but I don't apply a crazy amount because, you know, I want it to have that glow, that odd kind of shade, kind of changey glow, if that makes sense, but I don't want it to be like super crazy. So that is finished look number 3. Let's talk about these palettes. So this highlighter palette I will definitely get a lot of use out of. Y'all will see this come up. This is amazing. I love special highlights like this, and I love to be able to get them all in one because that makes them $8 a piece. And a lot of times when you order highlights that are like this, they're expensive, super expensive. And this is a great, great deal. I'm so excited. I love these things. And the All I Ever Wanted palette. Now, as I said, if you've got It's Belle, if you've got Adept, you probably don't need this, but I am certainly glad that I have it. Like these blues, I don't think are in anything else. But again, what do you want? You see what I'm saying? Do you need to buy an $86 palette for a few shades that you may not have? That choice is up to you. I am extremely happy that I've got it. I love it. If you're interested in purchasing either one of these, my friend Kara from Beauty and the Frizz has a code. It's FrizzFace. I will try to remember to link it down below. But yeah, use her code and that will help save you some money off of it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying, really enjoying Alien Cosmetics. So hopefully you find this video helpful. If you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, with a live on Saturdays at 2 p.m. And then sometimes we do even more bonus content. But I guess that's it. We'll see y'all later. Bye.